So let's say you've done all the exercises so far, you've watched all the videos, and you're still nervous about that job interview. What are things you can do to reduce the nerves? For starters, give yourself extra time. If something takes you a half an hour to get there and your job interview is at 11, don't leave the house at 10:30, because even if everything goes well, you may find yourself walking very quickly that last 2 blocks to get to the job interview, and you could be sweating. You don't want to get there and all of a sudden, oh no, I'm sweating, I'm perspiring, I'm oily. Give yourself plenty of time and allow for a bus delay, a mass transit delay, traffic jam if you're driving. Give yourself extra time. If something takes you a half an hour to get there, give yourself a full hour so that you have plenty of time before you walk in. You're collected, you're not rushed, you're not out of breath, you're not flushed, you're not sweaty, and you're completely comfortable. Okay, now, for the number 1 tip on how to completely eliminate your nerves, here is exactly what you need to do. Find a friend, colleague, a family member, tell them the company you're interviewing with, give them a few sample questions you think that the person interviewing you might ask. Some of them are obvious. Why should we hire you? Tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in this position? Have your friend, family member, colleague ask you these questions. But here's the trick. You're not going to like this, but it's the number 1 thing you can do to get rid of nerves. Give your family member or friend a cell phone and have them record the entire fake practice job interview with you. I know you don't want to do it, but guess what? You need to do it, because if you're in the job interview and you're nervous and all of a sudden, you're doing this, it doesn't really matter how good your answers are. You're not going to leave a good impression with that individual interviewing you. They're going to think you're a little strange or high-strung or weird. So that's why you need to practice on video. What makes us nervous quite often is not knowing how we come across. Are we speaking too quickly? Are we speaking too softly? Are we somehow shouting and we're not aware of it? It's very easy to find out. You just record. And then you have to watch it. I know you don't want to watch it. Oh, TJ, I don't like my face, I don't like my voice. Well, guess what? The person who's interviewing you has to look at your face. So you might as well do it too. The person interviewing you has to listen to your voice. So you might as well know how it comes across. So you've got to have your friend, colleague, family member interview you. You've got to record it on video. If you don't record it on video, it really doesn't help much. And that's the same with practicing in front of a mirror. That doesn't really help much. You practice in front of a mirror and words are coming out of your mouth, but you're thinking, oh, is my nose a little crooked? Or are my eyes too big? Don't practice your job interview answers in front of a mirror. Practice with someone asking you the questions, and you videotape it, and you watch it. But you've got to watch it really carefully. You've got to figure out, what do you like? What do you not like? If you notice that the first 2 minutes of an 8-minute interview, you're speaking really quickly and rushed, make a note of that. And practice it again, consciously speaking slower in the first 2 minutes, so that even though you are nervous, you don't appear to be nervous. So here's the real trick. You have to keep practicing until you like your answers on video. You've got to like how you look, how you sound, how you move. Because you can have the best answers in the world. If you're kind of like sitting back like this, arms crossed, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to leave a good impression with that interviewer. You need to be leaning forward when you're talking to this person interviewing. You need to be leaning forward, listening to them. Your hands actually need to move. You shouldn't be holding pencils, holding books in the middle of the job interview. You shouldn't be sitting on your hands. You should do what all people do when they're comfortable talking. Their hands move. Disregard all the sitcom advice about how you're likely to be nervous and do this. No, people don't actually do that, in my experience. So You want your hands to move naturally. Now, if absolutely nobody will rehearse with you, then just practice yourself. Ask yourself a question, hit record on your video, and tape it, and keep doing that until you like it. Now, maybe you do it in one take and you love it, you're confident, and you're ready to go in. It may be you have to do 100 takes. I don't care how many it takes. But if you want to get over nervousness, the number one way of doing it is practice your answers on video until you love every aspect of style and substance. Do it take after take after take if that's what it takes. Now, this will get faster, this will get easier. The more job interviews you go on, you'll spend less time on this because you'll get better at it. You'll get more familiar with it. But don't just think in your head about your answers. Don't just write it down. Don't just rely on your memo. You must practice your answers on video. Watch it, listen to it until you like it. Then your nerves will disappear.